Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be on GnuRadio, and we're going to learn some basic things about GnuRadio. We've been learning them, but this is also going to be one of those basic videos, sort of like getting started, no video, and getting to know how GnuRadio works and things like that. Even though I made like some intermediate topics, for example, modulation and aliasing and other things like modulation and things like that, but this is sort of like, you can say, a beginning type of beginner's video. So the flow graph, the way it works, I'm introducing two different type of blocks now. Flow to complex block, this is something new. A block called selector block, that is something new that I am introducing in this video. And there's going to be two more blocks that probably new to the user, probably I haven't used it or haven't explained it in my previous videos. Is going to be virtual sync and virtual source. And so let's just quickly go with this video. So the idea is this. So let me run the simulation first, and then we can go on and look at things. So I'm just going to simply run this flow graph, and here's the idea. Okay, let's just display some frequencies. So as you can see, I have a signal frequency. This is done through QT range block. Then I also have this drop down box that's a source where I can select from real signal and a complex signal. I can do that. So this is something new in my flow graph. When you're making a GUI, then you have something called a filter selection block. I'm calling it a filter selection block, but you can enable your filter or you can bypass your filter. So without filtering, this is the output that you're seeing, and with filtering, you won't see that. You will just see your signal. Then of course you will have your waveform drop down box. I'm using a cosine signal and a square wave signal. So this is a signal. Let's look at it in time domain. So it looks exactly like, sort of like a cos signal, and I can choose a square wave signal. Exactly looks something like a sinusoidal wave or a cosinusoidal wave, until and unless I bypass the filter, and this is an actual signal that you're looking at basically. So let's just try to understand this, how I can get these components. So the idea of this simple flow graph is that I have a sinusoidal frequency. I'll have a selection of different input signal that I can have a look at it. I can also have a selection box that allows me to actually bypass my signal or enable it however you want. I'll have another block, drop down box, that I can choose a signal from. Alright, and of course you will have a frequency, you will have waterfall display and time domain display and constellation display, all four in one single window. You can just have a look at it, and you can just simply look at your signal as is. So let's go over this signal, and let's just quickly look at your signal, and let's see how we are achieving this. So one thing that you need to remember, that you want to look at frequency, waterfall display, time domain display, constellation display in one tab. Let me close this. The block that you need from here is going to be your QT GUI sync. This block comprises of your constellation, waterfall graph, your time domain graph, and your frequency graph. You don't have to individually get it from your instrumentation block from here. All you can do is just use QT GUI sync block. It will give you all four blocks. First of all, that's the way you can do it if you want. Now the thing is this, I'm using a concept called something called a virtual sync and virtual source. So I have a signal that I'm generating. Look at the output of this. Look at the color of this. This is in blue. So I'm generating a 100 kilohertz signal, and this signal is going to be 100 kilohertz signal. That is a complex signal, and it's going into a virtual sync. And that virtual sync, think of it, that virtual sync, I can either put some type of an instrumentation, or this virtual sync is depicting some type of a device. For example, you might have your USRP or hack RF, or something that is transmitter enabled device like USRP, Blade RF, and things like that. So this is sort of like acting as a virtual sync, and I'm calling that a complex sine signal. This is the name that I have given. a complex sine signal because this signal is a complex signal. Alright, that's the first thing. So you can have your virtual sink and sources. So those virtual sink and sources will act as a physical device. Not act as a physical device, but you will have some type of a sink and a source. Otherwise, you have to connect a physical device to it. So this is sort of like a virtual, is depicting a virtual transmitting or a receiving device. So of course, if it's a sink, it's acting as a transmitting device. So now this virtual sink, so this is that first signal that you are seeing on your flow graph, and this is being controlled from here. Now this is being controlled by a slider called signal underscore frequency or sig under frequency. So now this is being controlled by this chooser. I think I already made a video on it, how you can use this. You can use a code like integer values, for example 102 for cosine, and then you'll have 103 for square wave or rectangular wave, then 104 for I think sawtooth, and so on. So these are different codes associated, integer values which are associated with different type of waveforms. For example, for sinusoidal wave, I think it's 101. I think I already made a video on it, 102, 103, and so on. So this is sort of like a selection integer value that will give you that value. So that's why the default value is coming out as 102. That is going to be cosinusoidal wave that is being controlled by this GUI chooser block. Now the next thing is, if you have looked at my simulation, we had a real signal. So now I have a signal. Notice this is in all orange, which means a pure real signal. Now this is going into a virtual sink. And so if it's a real signal, I need to have flow to complex block because this virtual sink is in complex value. So either you can have, once you have flow to complex blocks, definitely you need to have some real or imaginary signal as well. So instead of real and imaginary signal, I have a real signal that is going in. An imaginary signal, you can have just a constant source that has 0 volts, all right, 0 value. Either you can have that or you can leave it, don't connect anything. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine, or you can enable it however you want. So at imaginary part, you don't have to connect anything. Alright. So it needs to go into flow to complex block that is going into a virtual sink, and I'm calling this sink as a real signal, real sinusoidal signal. I hope you're getting it. So this is the first. So we have virtual sink, and both of these so this signal sort of like is being transmitted. This signal is sort of being transmitted. Now the next part is this part. Now both of these virtual sinks. So imagine the signal is being transmitted and is going to a source. So the source, this is sort of like a receiver part. So this is receiving a real sine signal, and this is receiving a complex sine signal. It is going into a block called a selector block. Now what this selector block will do, it will allows me to give me that drop down value, a selection value, that which signal you want to look at. So based on this, so it's just a simple selector block. This is just a path select. It has 2 inputs and 1 output, and this is being controlled by this GUI chooser. So at 0, we're calling it, we're saying at 0, just give me this signal, which is going to be a real signal, real sine. At 1, it will give me complex sine. So this is sort of like a selection block based on this chooser value right here, which I'm calling it a path select. Alright, so the next thing is, so 2 input, 1 output. Now the next is going into an adder block. Now if you were to look at this adder block, I'm including a noise source. So I have a signal, either my real signal or complex signal, depending on what I choose from my drop down value. I can add noise to it. So when I add noise to it, so it's going into an adder block. Now the output of this is going into a bandpass filter, and it's also going into the selector as well. So if I were to look at this output is going to be without my filter, and this output that is going into my bandpass filter, this is going to be enabled when my filter is enabled. So I will see that. So based on, that's why I have another selector here. Okay, so let's look at my bandpass filter. Even though I made videos on filters before, just have a look at it. So I have a signal frequency that is about 100 kilohertz. So I am passing a signal between 75 kilohertz to about 125 kilohertz. this is the signal that I will pass through this band pass filter. All right. So this is the signal that I should be able to see, the band pass filter. That's why. Now the output of this is also going into a selector block. So when the signal is coming in and it's passing through it, when my filter is enabled, I will only get the signal will pass through my band pass filter. Now using this selector block, I will also have that drop down value if I want to enable my filter or I want to bypass it, or I want to. So when I bypass it, it will just omit that and it will just show me whatever, when the noise is being added, what is that signal looks like. Now all of this is coming out of this selector block going into a throttle block. Since I don't have my any physical device connected to it, you gotta have your throttle block, and it's going into a Qt GUI sync. Now this Qt GUI sync, it's a combination of your frequency sync, time sync, waterfall sync, and constellation diagram. All four are built in. Otherwise, you have to individually get it from here. So for example, if you want to have a frequency sync, you can only have a frequency sync like this. So you can just simply drop down here. But using a Qt GUI sync, you have all four of them there, and then they will have it in a different type of in a tab mode. So now once you know your flow graph completely, just look at it. Now I think it all makes sense. So this is that source block. So right now you're looking at a real sinusoidal signal. So here we go. This is my real sinusoidal signal. That is that imaginary signal that is just there, because either you can have that input disabled or you can have a constant source, you will still see that imaginary line. Now when I want to look at my complex signal, I already made a video on complex signals. You will definitely see your complex signal, which means a cos and sine signal with a 90-degree phase shift. This is what my complex signal looks like. You can also look at this signal in your frequency domain as well. So we're just focusing on this side because negative frequencies don't exist, but you'll be able to see them. Now let's have my real signal. Since my filter is enabled right now, because I have two selectors that are there. So by default, my signal is coming out. So basically, I'm looking at my real sinusoidal signal that is being enabled by this selector. Now the output is going into an add filter. The noise is being added. And now, since I have my filter enabled, my signal is going through this band pass filter. So the signal is going in. And now selector is only choosing this path of my signal. That is what we're seeing at my GUI sync output. So let's just quickly look at my flow graph. Okay, so my filter is enabled, so we're good. Now let me remove my filter and let's see what happens to my signal. So if I were to bypass my signal, this is what you would see, because you will have your noise, because that's what filters do. It actually tries to remove noise from your signal. And based on this, you can also choose your square wave. So this is how your square wave looks like. This is what you would see in time domain graph. This is what you might see in your constellation diagram. And so on and so forth. So by having a enable filter, now you will just see your signal. And that is going through your band pass filter. That is going to look at your signal from 75 kilohertz all the way up to 125 kilohertz with a transition bandwidth of 5 kilohertz. So this way, actually, this is another way of looking at your signal with respect to selection block. You want to bypass certain blocks. These are some, or you can use virtual sync and sinusoidal sites and things like that. Notice one thing: when you have your real signal only exists on your eye, on your in phase, sort of like an x-axis. When you have your a complex signal is actually going to be a combination of I and Q's. So when I choose this complex signal, this is sort of like a constellation diagram that you would expect to see. And I hope you're getting it, because the last video I made was on complex signal, and you know that complex signal are continuously moving signal that will have I in phase and Q values together, because complex signal is a combination of sine and cos signals, and generally sine signals are considered to be a imaginary part of your signal. So that's the idea. So this is how you can use these different blocks and different boxes, virtual sync and source, and transmit that signal within the same flow graph. You can use your selector blocks to have different selection. You can use chooser block and things like that. So I hope you found this tutorial to be useful. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching.